Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Around the Game. And tonight, I'm blessed with a very beautiful girl called Irama Joan, one of the most influential players in the league. Joan, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
It's good to be here.
Okay, how are you?
I'm good, I'm fine.
That's nice. Does Corona got anything on you?
Of course, Corona, as that every like people have been influenced, like it has really put a lot of things on stop. Like there's a lot going on because of Corona.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you concur with me, but girls don't really love participating in sports. I don't know why. You're going to share with us, your lady. But what influenced you to begin playing basketball? How did you fall in love with basketball?
I think I started playing basketball in high school, in my senior one. I think I just walked on court and I just enjoyed the way people were playing, having fun. Okay, basketball is more of like a family sport. Like people through sports, people become like they become family, and I loved the way people used to like relate when they were on court, even after court. That is what really made me admire the sport, and I joined in and I started playing.
So, what school was that?
It was Eagle's Nest.
Eagle's Nest. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm very sure, like so, Francis Tumsime,
Yes.
Lawrence Waligo,
Yes.
they all inspired you to begin playing.
Yes, and Mwaniki Jeff.
Okay.
Jeff was my first coach.
How did they like encourage you? They were like, John, come and try out or something. Let me tell us about the story. Like the first time they spotted you and they were like, let's help this guy.
Actually, they didn't spot me. I used to play 21. You know, when you're in S1, those of Francis were big. They were in a higher level than us. So for us, were like the Bunsen burners. So we used to feel like playing with those guys. So we'd play maybe when they are done training. Then we play when the sun is out. Like when the sun is so hot. That is when we used to start. Like that is when we used to play. So it was after I think they spotted like Francis spotted like my love for the game, and Jeff, because there was going to be an under 16 basketball tournament.
And schools?
At schools, but at our school we were the ones hosting. So they just decided to invite me in, like, to start playing. So I enjoyed playing because there's a way they used to encourage us to play, and then they used to call me like African Queen, and all that. Yeah. So they pushed me. They pushed me, like they made the game fun. But when the tournament reached, we were very young and were actually very few players. We didn't even know what we were doing. We were still learners.
Okay.
Yeah, that is how I started playing.
Okay, let's get into your basketball history. The teams you've played for in the league, because I know at least you played for about 6, 7, 8 years in the league so far. So what teams have you played for so far?
Okay, I have played for Amazon Rhino. Then I was also the Moves captain. And then I've also played for Magic Stormers and Gladiators. I've won championships like with Gladiators and Magic Stormers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Moves basketball. Moves is not really so basketball. It's not really a basketball university, because you look at DJ, UCU, Muka back in the day had a very, very strong team. But Moves is not so much into basketball. What is the problem? Is it a problem, or it's just how the school, can I call it a school?
I think it's a problem. Like when we were there, just even going for tournaments, we used to beg, ask, plead. I think for them, they don't look, they have, I think, priorities, like maybe in the kind of sports that they really want to promote that maybe markets them. I think Moves prioritizes like soccer and netball, so they are not so much into basketball. Okay, they have a basketball coach and all that, but their interest doesn't lie there.
At least I have come across Mr. Chimbuko. I think that's the sports tutor over the university. I've come across him at basketball games, and I know he loves basketball. And I'm shocked if you tell me they don't really support basketball.
Yes, he does. He's actually a big power fan. But I think even the finances that are like they allocate for sports are very few. So they choose a few sports to maybe promote, to support, because maybe the fans are like the sports anyway. Uganda generally doesn't support much in sports, doesn't Okay, I'm sorry to say that. Generally, but I think their main focus is on soccer. Okay. And maybe netball.
So did you win any championship with Moves?
No, I didn't.
Did you travel like with the Moves team to like countries?
Unfortunately, every time that those that were supposed to travel, that came in, the finances are not enough. We are going to cater for only a particular team, like these few teams. You don't want to take so many team players, like teams that have very many players. Want to take maybe individual sport and all that. Yes, I think it comes back to the fans. Yeah.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to your basketball history. You say that you began with Amazon Rhino.
Yes, I did.
How was the whole experience? Because coming from high school, going to Amazon Rhino, it must have been a challenge.
It was a very good experience, and I want to thank my coach. He was called Hakim, Wanka Hakim. Okay. Rest in peace, Hakim. Just passed on recently. I think Hakim was the person who brought me like in the league. When he saw me like somewhere as picking up, I didn't even know about the whole league saga. Like there's any basketball league running like in Uganda. I didn't. I did. He got me from, I think, Nkumba. That time I was playing in Entebbe, like I was in Entebbe, but I was picking up with those guys. But I had no idea about the league. So that is when Hakim called and he's like, "Hey, Joan, what? I got your number from a friend, and you'll be like a good addition on our team." So when I came in, the first day when I came in, like to train with the girls, I was so interested. Like I found Amazon was a family. Okay. They made me enjoy the league.
Who made you start in the team? Like the first time you came, which players?
The players, of course, there was Tina. Okay. She's called Tina Perigoy. There was Batenga, Yvonne. There was Lucy, Kabanyana. The team was so big. Okay. Like I'm now sending shout outs. Yeah, that would be mad. Okay. Yeah, that is when I joined Amazon. Limpachu Lovelin was, I think, the captain then. And then there was a Chen Gloria. So those are the guys that made me like settle in. Like I really felt had arrived and had found a family in basketball, and we've lived on like that even up to now, up to date. We are like a family.
That's good. So how was the whole experience? The first time you got into the team, the first time you played a league game, how was it?
Oh, it was so terrible, I should say. It was so terrible because I think we lost that game. Now, being a young girl, like I had not joined campus then, I was still in my vacation. So I didn't know about that whole losing beat and all that. So I found these big girls, like I think we played, is it A1 Challenge? The one challenge was my first game. The game was intense. Actually cried after the game because they whooped us. We were whooped badly, and I didn't know, like, it was my first experience actually because I cried after the game. So they came comforting me. They told me, Joanna, welcome to the league.
Your Amazon teammates.
My Amazon teammates. And I was like, no, someone scratched me. But in actual sense, I was crying because I'd lost that game and we had lost like terribly. But from then on, I had to learn how to control my emotions and enjoy the game. Okay. Yeah.
So, did you win any championships with Amazon, right? Or like any measures you achieved when you were with Amazon?
Okay, no, I didn't win any kind of any championship. But what I won friends. Like I won sisters. I won friends who are like sisters up to now. Okay. They are my family.
Yeah. Okay, moving from Amazon, you joined. What team did you join?
From Amazon, I joined Gladiators.
What influenced you to leave Amazon? Was Gladiators bigger than Amazon? You wanted to develop or something? Because I remember you said you had sisters in Amazon.
Yes, I had sisters in Amazon. Yeah, the fact that I played for Amazon for a very long time, I felt like I needed some change to go and try out and maybe play from another team. That is when I chose Gladiators. So I opted for Gladiators because my former Amazon coach, he was called Desan Norman, had left Amazon and he had joined Gladiators. So I thought, and Coach Harriet. So I thought maybe if I find the same coaches that side, it will still feel like what Amazon. Let me go and try and play that side because I wanted to also play with Claire Lamuno. Yeah.
Okay. So are there any championships you won with Gladiators?
Yes, I did. I won one championship with Gladiators, and I was also voted the most valuable player and also the top scorer then.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So did you also win sisters in Gladiator?
Yes, I did. I won sisters and family members.
Nice.
Yeah.
So moving from Gladiators, because you know you're a traveler.
I am, but not so much.
So after Gladiators, you moved to.
After Gladiators, I moved to Magic Stormers. Then from Magic Stormers, I also won a championship there. And then from Magic Stormers, I now went back to Amazon. I went back home.
So that is like 5 teams, and you're still young.
No, not 5. They're like 3.
Those are 4 teams.
4.
Amazon twice.
3 teams.
Gladiators.
3.
Then
Amazon, I just went back home.
Yes,
I was lost. You know how I'm a prodigal daughter, back to Amazon. So I first went, tested the waters, then I went back to Amazon.
Back home.
Yeah.
So what is the story of Amazon? Because I know like Amazon is part of the Rhino Athletics Club.
Yes.
And Rhino is one of the founding members of basketball in Uganda. Like lots of legendary players outside there have all been through the Amazon the Rhino system.
Yeah.
But Amazon Rhino has been struggling a lot for the past few years. What's the story behind Amazon?
The story behind Amazon. I think people get it wrong. Okay, most teams, you know why teams come in and then they die out? Because some teams just come in like maybe to play, win championships, and then that's all. Once they are not winning, they die. I think Amazon was created. I think it's there like to do, because I came from high school to Amazon. Every player, every good player in the league, every girl tells you I went through what? Rhinos, Amazon Rhino. So I think it's like a team that is helping us like build, like look out for these young players wherever they are, bring them in the league, start nurturing them, and then big teams steal them. It's like a grassroots for most league players, like league beginners. So Amazon is not struggling. Amazon is fun, like it's fine. We should even actually appreciate. Amazon needs an award for keeping there, like it has stayed for very many years.
Yeah, true.
And it has developed players. Amazon doesn't die out. Even if Amazon remains with 5 players, they will tell you we're in high school, we're at campus, and all that. The older ones are just there maybe to help in, chip in. That is why I went back to Amazon. We should FUBA needs to recognize Amazon and give Amazon an award.
Who manages Amazon?
Donan.
Yabazaire.
Yabazaire, yeah.
Okay, he must be really doing a good job.
Yeah, he's doing we should upload him like for that. It's a good job.
Okay.
We may not see it out there. We may doing a good job. Playing basketball is not about winning trophies and all that. Yeah.
So who are the coaches who have been like very influential towards your development?
The coaches who have been like very influential. First of all, it's Mwaniki Jeff. He got me when I was so raw. I didn't even know how to bounce a ball. Okay. Then Francis Tumusime was also my high school coach. First people who coached me, and he's the person I looked up to. Like I really loved. Actually was my first influential player, because I never watched the league. I didn't know anything about basketball. He's my first, I think, Michael Jordan that I watched, because I watched all those other players when I'd seen Francis play. I'm like, oh, okay, this game is so interesting. Then there's also Desan Norman. Then there's Olobo. Then there's Coach Jeff. Okay, Coach Jeff was also my high school coach, my secondary coach. Then there's Chirabo Peter. Mr. Chirabo was also my coach. Then there's also Coach Harriet. I had very many coaches. There's Coach Harriet, then Coach Hakim, Mwaniki Hakim.
Okay, so do you look at coaching one day in future, because you've been through many coaches? I know you've got a lot of experience and wisdom from those coaches. Do you look at ever coaching one day?
Yes, I used to coach. The time I was playing in the league, and when I was at Moves, I used to coach at my former school, Kisubi High School. I coached them for I think 2 years. Then I just got busy, because they were on Entebbe Road. When I graduated, you know, when there's work and all that, you cannot start running to coach on Entebbe Road, then you come back and work. Yeah. So,
but in future, you are sure you're going to become a coach?
I don't have that interest, I won't lie.
Why?
In coaching, but I know what I'm doing. I'm also mentoring some kids. I'm doing some peer mentorship in primary schools.
What do you mean peer mentorship?
Okay, I'm a peer mentor. It's a voluntary. Yeah, I work with UNICEF. It's a voluntary kind of thing that I do in my free time.
Okay, that's
so
nice.
We mentor kids who are in P5, P6, and all that.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Then talk about girls basketball in general. There's negative perception about girls basketball. When you go to watch a league game, there are few girls. I mean, there are few fans watching the game. The girls are not really advertised like the boys are advertised. There are very few girls teams in the league. Scores during games are really, really bad. I'm going to give you an example. I'll not mention teams if it's let me say UCU versus a lower table team. The scores are really, really bad compared to the boys basketball these days. There's been a lot of change. Number one can go toe to toe with number 8 or number 7, 9, something like that. So please talk about the girls basketball.
Okay. Now about the girls basketball, I don't know. I think it has been affected by, I don't know what the team has to offer to the girl. That is why we find teams like KCCA dominating because they pay their players, UCU dominating because they provide like that free scholarship to their players. Then there's also JKL because they also pay their players so well. So I think it's the reason why the better players are leaving the smaller teams to join the bigger teams. So you find that the best, like the better players, are all maybe confined in one team, or not in one team, or in 2 to 3 teams. So that leaves the other teams powerless. Yeah, I think it's the reason why. So when people see the better players are maybe in the other team, in a better team, of course they are going to think it's an obvious win for that bigger team. Yeah, so I don't know how we should start. We need to also market maybe the ladies, but anyway, marketing starts with an individual, with a team and all that, because in basketball people don't market themselves so well. Not the boys, not the girls, but at least the boys try. But the girls, I think it's a show off thing, but they need to also market themselves and put themselves out there. Because there's a WNBA girl, I always follow her, forgotten her name, but it's the way she's always posting about women's sports, women in sports. I'm a basketballer, I can also do this. Yeah, if we get that and we also join hands, maybe we can make the women's league a better league.
Okay, so when you joined the league, apart from this Amazon Rhino teammates of yours who helped you settle in, are there any veteran players in the league who are like, I think you're going to be a good player in the future, please? Can I work with you? Can I help you once in a while? Or did they give you advice along the road?
I think I got more assistance, like from, I think, Coach Harriet. Don't know if I should consider him as a coach or a veteran player, because for him, from the time I was in high school, she had always like followed me up, and she really wanted me to become like a better player, because I think I've gotten more assistance from her as a coach, as a player, as even a mother, because Coach Harriet it's like she has mothered most of the girls in the league. So she advises you, she tells you, Joan, don't do this, don't do that, Joan, this is not good, you have to do this way, what I'm going to get you someone. Maybe you need to stop driving on the right, you need to drive on the left, so you need to read your books and all that. So I got more assistance, I think, from Coach Harriet and Linda Wefila. If you know Linda, she was like my fellow team, like she was a teammate in Gladiators, but she also turned out to be like an influence in my life. Yeah, she became part of my life, and she influenced me somehow as a veteran.
Okay, so I think I know you've played in the league for quite some time. Are you now doing the same to the young girls outside there in the league?
I beg your pardon?
Like, are you influencing them? Are you helping them like the Coach Harriet helped you?
Yes, I am. Like now that I even went back to Amazon, I'm influencing, like we have young players. I always advise them. I influence them. Like I try playing with them. Like I try working out with them. Yeah. I try doing a lot of things, because when there's a way they look at you and they're like, oh, okay, you can still play. How do you do this? How do you do that? And you try like showing them what to do. So isn't that part of influencing?
Of course it is. I'll not take it away.
Okay.
I want you to talk about, I know growing up, the first year you joined the league, to right now, I think the most dominant teams in the league, in the girls division, UCU and KCCA. Of course, JKL has come through in the past maybe 2-3 years, but yeah, I know you back in the day you've been thinking about the KC and UCU players like crazy. Talk about that rivalry. Why do you think, apart from the money bit of it, why do you think they have been that dominant?
They've been dominant because it's obvious, because like I said, they have what to offer. These very good players, like good players. When once people come out of the league, like of the high, like if you watch high school basketball games, you realize that the most players that were influential in high school have either joined KCC or UCU, and UCU on the other hand has what to offer: education. KCC on the other hand, okay, there are a few teams that come in maybe okay and maybe support like MOOCs Parks, and that is like maybe on the government sponsorship side. So I think even that government sponsorship thing is not so really focused on, they don't really take it serious. That is why, because we would say MOOCs Parks could be like also among that rivalry, like could have like very good players, but I think they're also not focusing so much in giving something to these girls. So that is why we've had that kind of rivalry like for a very long time. Now you see how JKL has almost taken over half of the KCCA players. What do they have?
Yeah, sure.
They have something better to offer the players than what maybe KCCA is offering. Okay. Yeah.
So, what has basketball done for you thus far in your life? Of course, I know you're going to tell me about these girls, Tina, Patenda.
Anyway, basketball has got me friends, family. It has made me famous.
Of course, that's why you're here.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, it has made me famous. Yeah, okay. It has made me famous. It has got me friends. It has got me maybe some offers, some business offers, because I do some African, have some African things that I do. So I get a lot of support from
What do you mean African things? African
okay, I do. We do African jackets, African shirts, African shoes, yeah, backpacks and all that. And when you're looking for customers, of course, your friends are your first customers. The people that you hang with are your first customers. Okay. Yeah.
So you're not so active in the league these days. I'm not going to say I'm an old woman because you really look young and beautiful. You're not so
Thank you.
active in the league. Well, what do you do apart from basketball?
Okay. So what I do, I'm a sales representative. It's called sales and marketing executive for. It's called Harley's Uganda, and we are the distributors of Deep Heat in Uganda.
So what do you mean in Uganda? Like all these deep heats we see in the
all
supermarkets?
The deep, yes, in the supermarkets, in the pharmacies, in the hospitals, and physiotherapists, what they carry in their
kits.
In their kits, Deep Heat comes from us.
Okay.
Yeah. So all those watching, you know what to do.
So how does deep heat help? Like people know the word deep heat, but yeah, please explain what deep heat are.
Okay, it helps like if you have muscle pains, muscle strains, like we have the spray injuries, like basketball injuries, like physiotherapists. If you have physios, they usually use it like to treat if you have a muscle pain, like back pains, like muscle pain, like ankle pain, and all that. Okay. That is what deep heat helps in.
So it creates wonders because I know people usually when they get injuries, the first thing to do is first massage. So the deep heat is
they use the deep first aid. Yeah, of course, number one first aid kit.
Do you have a deep heat in creams or something?
Yes, we do. We have it in a spray. There's deep heat spray. We have it in a gel, and we have it in creams. Then we also the ones that we bring in the deep freeze also. Yeah, and our products are UK products.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the sportsmen outside now, you should tell them about it. Look for Joan's number after the show, and we shall share it. Please get in touch with her. Okay, Joan. Let's get a little bit more personal. Do you have a top 5 NBA all-time team?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can we please get into it?
Okay, I'm excited. I don't know if I'll make it to 5, but I'll start with Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
Then I'll say maybe Michael Jordan. Then I'll say LeBron James. Then there's James Harden.
Okay.
And Kawhi.
Oh, nice. That is 5.
Yeah.
That's a nice team. Very tough to beat.
Yeah.
Then let's go local. NBL top 5. You can mix boys and girls.
Sure. Or I can do maybe the boys, the men.
You can do
okay,
the
boys. I can do the boys, then I can do the. Okay, the boys. I think let me even use my fingers to count because
there's so many.
No, should I do the top 5?
Yeah, do the top 5.
All time, like.
Yes.
Okay, there's Stephen Omoni.
Okay.
There's Norman Blake. And there's who? There's Norman Blake. Then there's Jimmy Nabu.
Okay.
And there's who else? Oh, we have those Michael karaoke.
Okay.
Then people are going to somewhere impersonal.
So let's hear it. Those are 3. Those are actually 4.
Those are 4.
You need a point guard of the team. I don't know if Jim is your point guard or something.
Then there's Ivan and Nabu.
Okay, so the 2 Nabu brothers.
Yeah, the 2 Nabu. Yeah.
Then let's get into the girls. Top 5.
Girls, top 5. I'll go with I think Claire Lamuno. Then Sharon.
Who's Sharon?
Sharon, the big Karunji Sharon.
Okay, yes.
Then Martha Sogi.
Okay.
Then I'll put myself as a point guard.
No, please don't put yourself. I don't want.
I
want other players.
I'll put myself as a point guard.
No,
then there's a call Liz, a call Elizabeth, and
that's 3. 2 to go.
Those are 3. Okay. Then who else? I'm still thinking.
Take your time.
Then I take my time.
Say what the 2 players.
3. I should be on number 4.
You said 3.
3. Okay. Then there's Fanny Belinda. If you watched Fanny play. Then there's also there's a player I'm looking for, but there's a girl who first crossed me over in the league when I just joined. In
division in
NBL. In the NBL.
Who is that?
I've forgotten her name, but she was the first person to cross me over. She was playing for Mooks Park.
She crossed you?
She crossed me over. Like, it was actually in the center. And the funniest bit is that even my teammates stood up and shouted.
Teammates like Putina?
Of course, like the whole team, the whole bench. You know how they cross you over and then the whole bench rejoices? Your own bench like rejoices, even the other opponents. I've forgotten her name, but I think
you remember with time. Before we end the show, please remember.
I don't think I
will. There's no like secret. You're a big fan of Warriors basketball team. Actually, there were rumors you're on the payroll of the Warriors team.
That's what it was.
Whenever people see you with Tashovia, you're talking about your payment and everything. Tell us about your love for.
I don't know. Okay. Like I said, when I joined the league, I was new to it. I was new to almost everything, and I'd never watched any basketball games. I used to just come play. Then when you're young, you have to go back home and it's calling and all that. So the first game I watched, the first NBL game I watched was between Warriors and Power. So when I watched that game, I loved the way Warriors played and Warriors won. And then I got some threats from my former Amazon players. They were
Power fans.
Warriors fans, they were staunch Warriors fans. So they told us, when you're young and they're like, if you don't support Warriors, you're not coming back to any game.
Who are those girls? Who is that? Tina and Lynn?
Of course, Lynn and Lucy, I would say. And so the fact that those two were big, staunch Warrior fans, they told us, if you don't support Warriors, live where where we are seated. You shouldn't even be seated next to us. You're not going back home with us. So I was scared, and I was scared. So I was like, you know what? To save myself a lot, let me just support Warriors. And when I supported Warriors, it was an intense game. And that year, I remember Warriors won by 2 points. It was 90-92. It was the tension in the game was so fun. I enjoyed how Warriors played. I know how Michael Karaoke used to dunk, all through around those dunks and everything. So I enjoyed a lot of the kind of game Warriors played. So from then, I don't move around okay, if I'm a diehard fan, I'm a diehard fan. I don't usually change teams and then say I'm going to support. I'm not a bandwagon fan.
Okay.
I'm a loyal fan. So I'm Warriors.
Still on Warriors. Warriors, I'm not going to say they have been struggling because at least for the past couple of years they have been in the playoffs and maybe stopped in the semi-finals. I don't know if they have been to the finals and lost. But I think Warriors are a really organized team, of course, with management. You have Brian Kubisiriza, you have Tashobia Ambrose. They ought to win a championship at least. Why is Warriors struggling to win a championship?
We don't struggle, but I think in one of the words of, I think, Kobe, I don't know where I read them, they said that to win a championship, like, you need luck also on your side. I think we've not been lucky. Because there are those days really. So we had the trophy like in our hands. It was our championship. We had to even make it to the finals, and we find ourselves losing it maybe in the semis. Yeah, maybe losing in the finals. So I don't know. We are just not lucky, but we shall get lucky.
But do you think we have hope like very soon?
Very soon. I don't think so. I've lost hope also.
You've lost hope?
Yeah, I've lost hope, but I'm still a Warriors fan.
Okay, so tell us about the toughest player who you've been against on the basketball court, both offensively and defensively.
The toughest. I think my toughest opponent has been Cheche, like offensively.
Cheche, that's Chemtai.
Chemtai has been a tough opponent.
Why is she the toughest offensively?
She's hard to mark. Like,
is she quick?
Yeah, she's very quick. Like, we almost had the same speed, but there's a way she can beat you to that speed. Then defensive wise, and I don't know, I've been defended by a number of people, but I think she's called Barbara. Barbara has been my toughest.
Which Barbara? Defender. There are many Barbaras.
Barbara A1.
Okot Barbara.
Okot. Because she made me even like shed some tears when I was in Amazon. Like,
was that the first game?
No. Number of games. Like, when they realized that this girl, she's like a bit quick, she's becoming a problem, they would send Barbara for you. So Barbara would mark you out.
And she made you cry.
And she made me cry. Like, I would even feel like crying, like getting out of the game. At times I would even walk out of the game when I'm tired. Like, I feel the ball is not even reaching me. I've been marked out. Things are not shifting and all that. Yeah, it has been my toughest opponent.
Okay, so what's your favorite food? Glowing, you're looking good.
My favorite food. Okay, I eat anything that comes on my plate. I won't lie about that, because if I stood here and I was like, I don't eat much, of course I know some people who are my friends who are following, they will laugh at that. I think my favorite food is I love kosho and fish.
Kosho and fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not Kenyan, but I love fish and kosho.
Okay. So what does your normal workout routine look like?
My normal workout routine. Okay, it's not that like when I work out mostly like in the evening, like when I leave work, that is when I go maybe hit up the gym or maybe run around home. Yeah, it is how it's simple. I just do the running and maybe work out.
How long do you run for? 1 hour and 5 hours?
I run for like 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah, I do a road running. Like, I run around. Like, I run up to some maybe. I don't run within, but I make sure like it's like a road run.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get back into general girls basketball. Do you think the girls basketball is being taken care of in the grassroots pretty well? Are they helping the young talent maybe in high school so much? Because I know back then the Sprite tournament, I never really played and heard a lot about the Sprite tournament, but there were good players those days.
So that's also played in the Sprite tournament. So I'm a product of the Sprite tournament.
Okay, is FUBA or the Ministry of Education and Sports doing enough for girls?
No, I don't think they are. Because even schools, when it comes to maybe if there's a tournament and maybe both teams are supposed to participate, they'll say that boys first. Even I experienced that even at Eagles Nest. Because the girls, it would really be like you would ask, like, you played, you're like, at least you need to go and participate. I don't know what we are going to do about that. It's not really taken care of in the grassroots, but I want to recommend people like Coach Harriet. She's really doing a good job promoting the girls' sports. Then even Coach Jeff, Wamboko Jeff. Those are the people that are at the front line. Like they are really supporting like and promoting like the girls' sports league even from the grassroots. If you see, they move to different schools training the girls. They do mostly train girls, like try to bring like the best out of the girls, even if some schools don't maybe agree with them like at times and maybe support the boys only. There is they are like trying to bring out something good in the girls.
Okay. So what are your plans in the next 5 years? What do you expect to see Joan doing for us
in the next 5 years? I want to be like a big business woman in Uganda. I want to be someone like really big, a big business person. Then I want to maybe own my basketball team, ladies basketball team.
Why not boys? No. Junior Warriors.
I want to promote ladies.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to promote ladies. Then I also want to also host tournaments. I used to host tournaments back then. I had a tournament. It was mainly for women only.
At Moves.
At Moves, yeah. It was called the Bibas tournament. But just because of funds, we lacked sponsors and funds. The tournament died out like that.
Okay.
So I would really love to continue with that kind of tournament with time, if I get enough funds and money, then within 5 years also want to see myself married with kids.
Okay. So would you also advise girls to begin coaching basketball? Because I think 3-4 ladies who coach. Coach Harriet, Mavita.
You only have to. You only have to. Yes, we should really encourage like, okay, I love what iHoops is doing. They are training. There's a way, regardless of how their coaching table maybe works like, because they coach boys and girls and all that. But you see, they have like a number of female coaches join together like with the guys. So we need to encourage more of the ladies to join the coach. I don't know why they fear.
Their boyfriends.
Why would they still play? Okay, maybe we have few. Okay, the problem is like we don't maybe keep in touch with those who have retired, because once women go into retirement, they don't come back to the game.
Their husbands.
Yeah, their husbands. I don't know, but we need to have more female coaches out there. Yeah, we need to come out and start coaching, promote the game, promote the young talent. Yeah.
Okay, so I was meant to ask you this question before, but we can still go back into it.
Okay.
When you're in the league, which player did you look up to? In the Warriors team or maybe guys or something?
When I was in the league, in the guys?
Yeah, in the guys.
I looked up to Stephen Omoni.
And?
Stephen Omoni and for Norman League.
Those are the only two players you looked up to. Yeah. Why were you looking up to them?
Stephen Omoni is a very good player. He was a very disciplined player.
But he's still playing.
Okay. I thought he had retired.
No, he is.
Okay, for another day. He's a very good disciplined player. I loved like the way. Okay, he's my most influential player, the person that I used to look up to.
Okay.
Truthfully, because I loved the way he used to conduct himself both on court and off court, and the way he used to play. Like I really wanted to be like him.
Then Norman Blake.
Norman Blake too. Norman Blake is also a very good player. I loved the way he used to play. Okay. His handles and all layups, how he was hard to mark and all that.
Don't you also like the way he conducts himself on court and even off court?
I love the way he conducts himself on court. I don't want us to go there, off court.
Okay. But on court, I think I've watched him play. Yeah. He's a team player.
Yeah, he is. Yes, he is.
Okay, so tell us about your parental influence. That is, I know something you must have suffered with. Like your parents, did they support you?
Yes, you know, African parents, they prefer books. It's always like books before sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my parents started accepting, I think, sports when I was a little bit older.
Okay.
Because when I was in high school, sports was in a no-go zone. Like I used to hide to play.
Yeah.
For them, what they really wanted was, we want the books. Like, we want to see like results, like books like We don't want to see like you fail, because you know how parents believe, how like African parents believe that if you're into sports, you're not going to read, you're not going to study.
Yeah,
and I
true.
don't blame them, because when you look at even when I was in school, you would see sports people
They never used to read a lot.
yeah, they never used to read a lot. And whenever they would even read the best player, the best like performers, the sports people are not always there.
Yeah.
But when they read maybe the worst performers, the sports people, maybe that is when they appear. So you can't blame African parents, because even sports in Uganda, like, you know, we used to argue like a lot about me playing sports. I want to go play, I want to go for this tournament, but my dad would put a stand and say, if you perform well, that is when you will do what? You will go for that tournament. And I would make sure at least I struggle and perform well. That is when he can let me, okay, you can go for your games. But if like, anyway, I think we also need to maybe talk to the African parents, maybe educate them like more about sports, because sports has paid school fees, like for some people it has paid tuition.
Sure.
Yeah, some people have been on government sponsorship, like different schools. But anyway, not forgetting in mind that sports also has led to the destruction of a few players who have thought about only playing sports, and they forgot like to study, they forgot to like to go ahead with the education, and it's like decided to maybe rely on only sports. And as time went on, their career died out, and their books also died out, like they didn't study any books, and they're now struggling. Yeah, so we should also encourage like the people, like they need to do both, like you need to study, you need to also, okay, you can balance sports and what and studies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before, just to mention that we just have like two more questions, but
Okay.
we're living in Corona times. I
Mm.
saw you come with a mask, you sanitize before you enter the office.
Mm.
I want you to look at the camera and you talk to the viewers who are watching and advise them on how to keep safe during this period.
Okay. It's so sad that we are not, okay, we are now actually practicing what social distancing, but we are not having the masks on. Anyway, corona is real. We've all seen like how it has killed people. Some we may know, some we may not know about them. Very many people have died because of corona, but I think we are now living with it, that it's maybe here to stay. So we have to keep safe, wash hands, sanitize, practice social distancing, wear mask, be vigilant like not to maybe greet people anyhow, avoid touching your soft parts like the way the president says it, and then avoid people that do kwashimula, something like that, sneeze a lot, like should be vigilant and on the lookout. Okay. Stay safe. Yeah.
Then lastly, I want you, of course, to look at the camera once again and advise the people who want to be like, I want you to inspire the kids, so your fans outside there.
Oh. Okay, my fans, to the kids watching, to everyone who's watching this show or watching Irama Joan, sports, you shouldn't you shouldn't be scared to engage in any kind of sports. Sports, you meet friends, some turn into family that you wouldn't think you had, like you get friends and family. Sports has helped a lot of people. Some people, like, it helps people keep fit. I don't know how I would be and even look younger. I look younger. I look like a sweet 16 because of sport. And you shouldn't fear like to engage in any. Mostly the girls, and they shouldn't fear like engaging in sports. And then we need to prioritize, like the government really needs to come out and support sports, like really support sports. Like the only sport I think the government knows is maybe soccer, but there is basketball. Basketball has kept people away from doing, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So some of us, we don't know what would have turned out into if we were not engaged into sports. Sports kept us busy and we avoided certain things, and that is why we grew up like to become better citizens, better players, and we are now looking to be better mothers.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, that's
it. And lastly, on her side, please, I know a lot of sportsmen are watching the show. If you get an injury and you want deep hits, Irama Joan is the person to look for. Is that better?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is better, but we encourage physiotherapists, doctors, like any person like practicing like sports. Once you get those injuries and all that, don't look out for anything else. Deep heat will help you sort out all your kind of injuries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Irama Joan, a very talented young girl. You're still young, whether you think about it.
Really?
Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you, Vinny, for inviting me.
I hope I'll see you soon in studio.
Of course, anytime you want me, I'll always be here.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Around the Game. I've been your host, Vinny Jurua. I guess I will see you again on Sunday. Do not forget to subscribe.